Alright guys, let's actually start this. Alright. Let's start this. Okay. I want to talk about dead bedrooms. We were talking about relationships. And I just restarted the stream, so let's get back right into it. Let's see here. Okay. The first bedroom we read into was this one, and just in case you missed it, this one was about a female, and she has a job that's very stressful, and she just rejected her husband, and she said some mean things, even directed at his body. And what happened in the end? Let's read it again. It says, he doesn't talk to me anymore, or kiss me, or hug me. He's giving me space, even though now I want him. I know I hurt him. I know I wasn't a great lover during sex when we had it. I know he's worried from the idea that he's going to upset me if he asks for sex. He comes to bed way later than me now, and when he does, he faces the other way. He greets me from work with a simple hey instead of a big hug and kiss. He's walking on eggshells around me. I want to change that. Did I cause beyond repair damage? And what I had to say about that was, yeah, it's a lot of damage that you've done, and who knows what other damage you've done that you weren't able to say in the post. And I talked about, basically, it's, look at your relationship as if, is it made of gold, or is it made of glass? And a simple way to assess that is, generally, it's kind of like, if the relationship that you have with your parents, your family, generally that's like gold, because we fight, and then things warm up, and then we're back to normal again, and that's a way to kind of navigate that. Oh yes, this relationship's like gold. And then there's ones that are like glass, which you'll probably notice is with certain friends and acquaintances, and when things break, even though they repair, they're not exactly the same. And the thing about glass is, whenever it breaks, it joins back together, but you'll see the crack in it. It's visible. And if your relationship is something that you just keep smashing, you just keep seeing the cracks in it. It's not like gold, where it's just brand new again. And that's a slippery slope, because if you really hurt the person too much, they just check out. And sometimes they might not even divorce you. They'll just check out internally. You're just a person, just another roommate. It's not a relationship anymore. I think the most important thing, at least from my understanding, is that it's communication. It's about being honest, and really openly honest about how you feel. And if you take honesty really to like a deep, vulnerable level, the other person would recognize that takes courage to go there and to be there. Well, I would like to think that the other person would recognize that. And that's the thing about being on the same page with the other person. Are they a person that would recognize that? Are they the person that would care that? They value those things? Whatever it is, you need to find a page that you guys can both be on, and then start from there and move forward, because it's about being on the same page. Wow, that's rough. That's a rough one. Sometimes it's not repairable, and sometimes it's just headed for a giant crash, and might have to move on. Anyways, let's read another one. It's the fall, so let's read this one. You do everything right for them. You cook, you clean, you take care of his 6-year-old. You walk the dog, you scoop the litter box for the cat, you buy his sexy laundry, you rub his feet, you give him back scratches, you step outside of your comfort zone and dance the night away at his friend's wedding in front of people you don't know. The whole night he's talking about how he's going to You get some, how you're gonna get some when you get home. You're so excited. Then you get home, you go to the bathroom, walk back into the bedroom to see him passed out with the dog. You shake your head, climb into bed, and shift and shuffle till you're comfy. And he wakes up for a second, kiss your head, and whisper, "Stop doing this to me." Says, and you whisper, "Stop doing this to me." And he says, "What? Do what?" Sigh. The fact that B doesn't understand what he did hurts almost as much as the false hope. I'm really tired of this. It's been a month and a half now. I just can't anymore. I just know, I don't know what else to do to have him see what's happening. I love this man so fucking much, but this fucking hurts. I can't do this anymore. I just fucking can't. Yeah, I mean, you know, it goes back to being on the same page, and I get it. And it comes back to communication. It's really hard to communicate sometimes. You know, because I mean, this post doesn't say what kind of people they are. It doesn't say the past history of what it was like to communicate. Maybe she's tried communicating in the past, and it's just not there. And you know what? Here's the tricky part. You don't want to be the person that's always having to give the other person the manual to who you are. Kind of just hope and wish that they would just see who you are and see you. Stop having to tell them every single time to be like, "Oh, that's what it is." Okay, like, do you not care enough to pay attention to who's in front of you, what's in front of you, or even when I'm speaking? Like, it's no. There's always a way to rehabilitate these relationships. Rough, it can be tough. Now, is she married to him? She's probably not, from the sounds of it. But I think more than just having like a physical intimate relationship with them, she's probably looking for more, because nobody wants just that. Even if you think you want just that, you don't. You want connection behind it. You want something behind it. You want to feel a soul behind it. Is it worth it to chase it with this person? Now, the good thing is, at least this person is with you and he's not interested in anyone else. So you might still love this person, and you wanna go down this path and recover from it. It might be easy. But what's it gonna take for this person to open their eyes, see how you feel? And you know, sometimes the easiest thing to do is just to communicate, feel vulnerable, and speak your mind, and speak really from the heart, make yourself vulnerable. And I think that's what it's about. It's about, I mean, if you're willing to get physically naked with someone, then emotionally you need to be able to get there too. That in itself is really intimate. So that's a challenge. I mean, that takes a lot from even oneself. But I mean, the fact that this person, this user, is writing and posting about it on Reddit. What I have to say about that is, you know, they're already putting themselves out there. They're taking the courage to take that step. Be vocal about it. Don't shout about it with your partner. See if you can find a way to get them to see you, like really see you. And then if they turn their back on you, then it's another question to ask, like, is this relationship for you? Maybe it's not. That's a sad part. All right, let's read Dead Bedroom No More. Let's read that one. I just want to share my milk because I'm just feeling the love again, and it gives me butterflies. So I joined the sub first off because the name intrigued me so much. It instantly made me realize that it was the perfect term to describe my relationship bedroom. The past few months, I just sit back and read everyone's posts and comments and advice. I really opened my eyes. It really opened my eyes. My boyfriend and I have 8 years split up about 4 years ago for close to 2 years, and got back together. Things between us just weren't the same. We were always so head over heels in love with each other in the past. He gives me butterflies even 5 years in. So wait, so is her boyfriend and her 8 years split up about 4 years ago for close to 2 years and then got back together. Okay. Anyways, I was crazy about him and he was the same. When we got back together, things were okay. But then things from when we broke up started coming up and pushing us apart. We ended up having another baby. Whoa, a baby, number 2, okay? And shortly after sacrificed our bedroom for good reason and started sleeping on the wraparound couch. Each on our own part of the couch. This was, has been going on for close to 2 years now. Further and further we get from each other. Then I joined this sub. Sex was something we would fight about a lot. He wanted it more and I just wasn't feeling it. I felt like he wasn't putting any effort into us to deserve sex, or me to give him that part of me. Not to mention I just was never in the mood and couldn't figure out why. Like he looked at like I was his girlfriend, so sex from me is something he was entitled to, which is true to some extent, I guess. So after reading posts, etc., I started realizing that I was feeling so turned off because of our bedroom literally dead. We didn't even have a room. Started realizing that he had sabotaged our relationship by giving up our room. I felt so far away from him because there was never really any room for closeness. 3 kids, so being in the living room, well, it's obvious. I started stressing to him how much this is affecting us and what it's doing to me. What it's doing to me, him, us. I explained how and why. After a blow-up fight the other day, he broke down and apologized to me for the way things have been, and it was sincere. I could tell he realized he was close to losing me again, and it woke him up. Thank God I love this man so much. That night, at almost 10 p.m., he went out and bought us a king-size bed and all new sheets, pillows, etc. The next day, he cleaned out our office, rearranged the living room to fit our desk, and turned our office into our bedroom. Today is our day 4 of having our room back. We have had sex or fooled around in other ways every night since. During the day, we are closer. Things are warmer between us. I get to wake up to him again. I get to feel him, love, his embrace. Feels amazing and almost brand new. Couldn't be happier. Thanks to everyone who contributes to the sub. I highly doubt that I'm the only one. Oh shoot, I don't know why I'm tearing up. Really sweet. Thanks to everyone that contributes to the sub. I highly doubt that I'm the only one that has taken something from this. But if you haven't, try it. Read the advice everyone gives. Apply it where it relates to your relationship. Save your love. Don't just give up. It's the words of Pink. We're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. Oh, that is so sweet. That's really sweet. I don't know why I'm tearing up, but that's really sweet. I think that's just a really simple solution that worked for them. I don't think they really had a problem, to be quite honest. All they needed was a space. They had 2 kids and didn't have a space for them to connect. Now the connection was already there. They just needed a space for it. When the boyfriend realized that they needed a space, he went and did that. But they also had to sit down and talk, which was like heart to heart, and that really makes a difference. Let's go back to that part. We have 3 kids, so being in the living, well, it's obvious. I started stressing to him how much this is affecting us and what it's doing to me, us. I also explained how and why. So after a blow-up fight the other day, he broke down and apologized to me for the way things have been, and it was sincere. Couldn't tell he realized he was close to losing me, and it woke him up. Okay. So the fact is that they had a heart-to-heart, and that's what matters. And that whatever was happening inside him, it brought him back to be on the same page, and that's what matters. Could you get on the same page as someone else, as your partner? Because if you can, then yeah, you got hope. You got hope. And luckily for this couple, it was easily fixable. All they needed was a heart to heart. Maybe their relationship was that they had already opened up to each other. They were on the same page, but things weren't communicating right. And so once they were able to just be truthful and honest, just be honest and open, like that vulnerability, it really means something. I mean, at least for me, I would think, to put yourself out there, and luckily he connected with him, and he didn't want to lose her, and he wanted to salvage the relationship, he wanted to save it, and he's making a recovery. He hadn't gotten to a broken phase. It wasn't as dead as she thought it would be, which is great. Let's see, something positive Sunday. Oh, okay. Share your positive developments, large or small, in the relationships in life. Let's see what people have written. After saying it was off the table and all of my issue to solve this week, she agreed. Couples therapy. Okay. Don't delay with the follow-up. Find some therapists. Choose one together and get yourselves there while agreement is fresh in the mind. Another person recently got out of a dead bedroom in January of this year. As soon as I broke it off, a relief came over me, and I have been with another man for 5 months. Wait, what? Oh, so she broke it off, the relationship, and she found someone else, and for 5 months. Great, apparently she's what she write. Best sex and physical intimacy that I have never thought was possible. Guess what it is. There's someone out there that will show you the love and affection you need. You are not asking for too much, I promise. So that's another example of sometimes you just gotta move on. It's hard to move on. It really is. So she moved on, and it was the best decision of her life, right? All right. Zoom that out a little bit. I think you guys are a little too close to me. All right. Let's move on to another one. Let's see what else positive there is actually before we leave. Things are really well. Saturdays have been days we spent together talking and being relaxed. Gave my spouse another long massage and made out in the shower afterwards. Okay. Oh, it's their spouse. Sometimes you gotta put in more effort when you're married, especially if there's still a chance. I'm happy now that I've more now than I ever have been. I used to be in a 2-year relationship that lacked intimacy. I was constantly feeling rejected and unloved. My partner made me feel guilty for wanting any intimacy at all. We did have sex maybe a month, but it seemed like a chore to her. But now I've been in a new relationship for the last year, and we are just as passionate as ever. Even if we only get to have sex once a month, I still feel loved and appreciated. I'm told how beautiful I am and get an occasional ass grab once in a while. Lol, dead bedroom is so much more than lack of sex. I know that now. But I'm so happy I stay in this community. Just try and give insight that things will get better if the right moves are made. That's really good that some people in this forum are hopeful, and that a community was able to help, and being a part of community has helped them in their journey to make it to where they are. Like this user, Beach Peach McGee, was able to rekindle their relationship. Is it when they say it's a new relationship? Now I've been in a new relationship for the last year. Does she mean that she left that relationship and moved on to a new one? And it is still once a month, but at least it's different. Yeah, because it's about that connection from the emotion. You just feel satisfied, right? Kind of like even if you have the intimate even if you have that intimate soul connection with that person, it doesn't even matter if they can physically do the act or not. I truly believe even if they can't do the physical act or not, just that intimacy on that emotional level, and then the fact that they want to, whatever they can, and they're doing just that is a gesture in itself. And means something. Affect the other person. Let's see, read one more. Things are going really well. Saturdays have become days we spent together, talking, relaxing. Oh, actually, we already read that one. We just got back from a soft spa. It was lovely. Earlier this past week, she came home from this black shop with this black shopping bag and a smile on her face. I went and did some shopping. She said, "You'll find out what it is later." And a few days later, we got a little high and went to the bedroom for some intimate time. I waited for her as she went in the bathroom. That part is typical, and for many years was a real boner killer as she stayed in there for seemingly forever, and I lay there in the bed waiting and watching my arousal die as she brushed her teeth and sat on the toilet, etc., etc. But I had reason to believe this would be different. Things have been so much better lately in these 3 months since the talk. I hadn't forgotten her mysterious little shopping trip. Things changed after the talk. It's all sorry, I'm gonna finish the thought. I just saw the glossary there. The talk, it's that communication, right? Getting that connection, being honest. At the end of the day, it's about honesty. No matter how you look at it, it's always honesty. Be open, be honest. Let the other person in. If you don't let them in, you're just keeping the wall up, and the other person can't make love to a wall, let alone talk to a wall. But some people even won't talk to a wall, and they still try and make it work, and eventually get exhausted. Read the glossary. L means lower libido, HL higher libido, EB means dead bedroom, SO means significant other, PIV, okay, LTR long-term relationship, LDR long distance relationship, DH dear husband, NRE new relationship. Interesting. They've got a glossary. Okay, let's continue reading what this person had to say. I was kind of worried about whether my body would respond if she decided to do something new and sexy. The last thing I want to do was to be at all discouraging to this woman. I love making tentative little steps towards a sense of actual sexual enjoyment and freedom. Hey, down there, doesn't disappoint us now. Which of course is exactly the worst thing for an older guy with a bit of performance anxiety to be thinking. Also, he's a little bit older, okay. And then, oh my god, my sweet wife of 30 plus years, this shy, repressed woman, 50 plus years old, walks out of the bathroom wearing a lace black bra and panties. A lace that's the stocking. She's gorgeous, and I'm suddenly, insistently, urgently hard. She begins swaying to the music, the other playing music, and smiling at me. I'm drinking in the sight of her, her eyes filling up with the most joyous beauty of this woman. I've been with the most of my life despaired of having genuine passion with ever again. Dancing with me in the lacy stuff. I'm not kidding. I mean, never. We were really in the sexual stone ages. Actually, Stone Age people probably Stone Age people probably had better sex on top of their furs by the fires than we had most of the time. So hard and stroking fiercely, and she smiles and dances in her beautiful black thigh highs and is happy with oh sorry. Okay, blah blah blah, and then we dance. Okay, so he's happy. But anyways, it's good. People found something. I you know, even with that, I don't think it's about the toys and the items and the lace bras, and I don't think that plays a major effect. I don't want a person to think that they need that, spice it up. It's to me, that's just like a temporary fix. If that, it's just almost like the bonus or something, that's just extra. It's unneeded, but sure, you know. And the real, it's like having cake, but it's just whipped cream. You don't want that, you know. You want to actually have the cake, but then if there's a cherry on top, it's fine. But you don't want just the cherry. It's like, that's what it is, you know. And you need to really, I think a person really needs to not treat the symptom, right? Trying to treat something, then you're gonna try these things like little toys and things like that. Try and get some fun out of it, but really you're not treating the root problem, and the root problem was the things like the communications, the honesty, trying to get that connection back. Let's read one more. In a few words to 20s, 30s, high libidos, long-term relationships who are on the fence about what to do. I'm a 31-year-old male. I was with my ex, a 31-year-old female, with her for almost 7 years until I split up with her a few months ago. We split up on paper due to issues with communication, but in truth, it is the lack of affection, including sex, that removes my desire to work on those communication issues anymore. It is a lack of affection, including the intimacy part, that removes my desire to even work on communication. So he doesn't even bother to even want to communicate, because he's like, there's just this lack of affection. Okay. Now I'm on the other side of a hurdle I never thought or planned to cross, despite having been on an intermittent poster here, for accounts over the years. Like possibly, you are thinking now, I told myself that she was so good in every other way that it would either not matter, it would be overcome eventually, or I would find suitable. Because ultimately, it felt like it would never be worth losing her, because I would lose more than I gained, even if I found someone else who was more sexual or affectionate. So the first thing I really want you to accept is that your relationship is not as special as you think. All those things that you do love about your relationship can and will be found with other men/women in the world. I'm not saying that true compatibility is common, but it's not so rare that you should ever let this fear of scarcity prevent you from seeking better. Secondly, biggest takeaway, however bad you think the lack of sex or affection is in your relationship, it's probably worse. The longer you are with someone, the more you forget what it's like to be with anyone else, the more that relationship becomes your baseline understanding of what a relationship even is. You may be at the point I was, where their lack of interest actually feels normal. And even though it frustrates you to struggle to understand whether or not your needs are even valid, maybe your other people just show as much desire or affection as I do, and therefore they are normal and I'm not. Maybe I'm just not that special a partner and I shouldn't expect so much. I don't really understand all that, but okay. The reality is that you have all your needs met elsewhere. Simple as that. Yes, it takes time and hassle of dating and starting again, but that doesn't change the fact that there are many people out there who give you exactly what you need in terms of sex and touch. Stop telling yourself that they are unicorns. I know myself that the first time I started seeing other people after the breakup, felt strange, and for them to have their own desire to touch me, their own impulse to have sex with me, their sweet words of attraction and affection would come from their mouths without prompting. When such things feel alien, you know that you have been subsisting for far too long. Whatever you decide to do, please just remember that yes, you're valid. It's not all in your head, and yes, you can find someone even more compatible out there. You can try. It's a scary thought, isn't it? He was with someone for 7 years. It's tough, especially whenever you see them like he describes, like a unicorn. That she's so amazing, you give that up. But then whenever it does something like this to you over time, and then he finally decided to call it quits, it would feel alien that when someone has their own desire to want to get intimate with them, connect with them, feel alien. It would. And I'm sure even for the 31-year-old female, his ex, maybe she might experience the same thing. It's sad. A long time. I don't want a person to think that the solution is always just pick up and move on to the next. But would agree that if you're in a relationship where it's been 7 years and you just can't connect to them, just can't connect, and you're there because you're like, no, this is the best thing I can ever get. I'm trying to connect, I want to connect, but it's just not happening. Yeah, it's quite possibly maybe service to yourself and to your partner, because For some reason, for 7 years, you guys just can't get on the same page. You know, like he moved on and he found someone, sounds like within the first year, is that what it was? That he could connect with. We shall move on and find someone too to connect with. And but then we have two people that couldn't connect, they found their own people that they could connect with. So yeah. It sucks to have to go through something like that. Sure, it hurts. 7 years. 7 years is a long time. 7 years is tough. Especially whenever you've already accepted or thought that the person is amazing. This person is the one for me. That call it quits. That's not easy. It's tough. Sometimes it's probably for the best, and it's probably even tougher to and then relationship with someone else, and I'm sure that is tough. At least for him, he's found someone, so that if he's feeling so much love from them at this point, and if he is feeling hurt, the fact that he had to leave that relationship, or to see that, oh, this person, you know, his ex moved on and she connected with someone and he wasn't able to connect for her. Sure, he's seeing that the person he's with today is able to console that for him, like, you know, to console him and comfort him, so that that hurt feels less. It also goes to the idea and the notion that at the end of the day, as much as we like to think that that person you're in love with, the person that you're with, is yours. Like, it doesn't matter about anybody in the world. Like, this person, this one person out of the billions of people in the world, this one person's mine. It's such a romantic idea to think about, that one person is yours. I think it's important to get over that idea, to realize that there isn't a one person that's yours. Only you are yours. And even that, like, one day we all died and this body, like, disintegrates. So regardless of what your beliefs are, it's, you have you. And it's hard whenever you dive down that deep into a rabbit hole to believe somebody's yours, and to just have to move on from that. All right, this is some heavy stuff. Maybe we'll look into another one. Let's see something. Let's see what they have in other problems. I mean, I think we've talked quite a bit today on the on the dead bedrooms. Let's see what they have here. Let's read this one. Writer writes, should I, 32-year-old male, be annoyed that my wife, 31, isn't motivated? He writes, my wife watches cartoons all day. Once every 2-3 weeks, we will clean, do dishes, laundry, housework, etc. But the second that is finished, she goes back to watching cartoons. I try to contribute the housework whenever I can, but it's tough, as I work 60-hour weeks. She doesn't have a job, and we do not have kids. Am I too picky for being annoyed that she isn't living her life? She says she is not depressed. She also says she is not too tired to do stuff. Just feels no motivation to improve herself. Now the question is, the writer writes, is he being picky? Yeah, I would think so. Sum it up. Let her be. She's watching cartoons. There's just something that motivates her. There's something. If you were to ask her, you know, if you had all the time and all the money in the world, all time, all the money in the world, what do you want to do? You're going to get an answer. Whatever that answer is, apart from traveling, because you have all the time in the world. So once you do all the traveling, you're done. You still have a lot of time. So what are you going to do now? Whatever that answer is, something that's going to motivate her. She loves cartoons. Maybe something in the world of cartoons. You know, maybe she's not ready to tell you yet. Maybe something that's close to her heart that she just hasn't let you in. You know, I think whenever you available to the person emotionally, open yourself up, they'll find the comfort to talk to you. You'll find it. And if they haven't found it, if she's not sure herself, really she isn't sure, it's a discovery process. Think of that as an opportunity that you can go and discover the things that she could possibly be into with her. Be a part of that journey. Discover those things with her. An opportunity. That's an opportunity that not a lot of people have. You got that opportunity. Whatever the user's name is, TA341221. So I guess go to another one. Read something. Let's see. Read this one. Being pressurized by my Indian parents to introduce my boyfriend and his parents, or else get arranged marriage to a guy my uncle suggested ASAP. Whoa. I am a 24-year-old female from a small town in India, currently pursuing my master's in Delhi. I have a boyfriend, 24-year-old male, whom I met 3 months ago via dating app. 24 is an age an average person, woman should be married in my own town. So parents, okay, were pressuring for an arrangement. So I blurted out that I have a boyfriend. It's been only 3 months, but I really love him. For 3 months is too short a period to make a decision like marriage. My parents, who are in an arranged marriage, met like 1 week before they got married, so they won't understand how they pressurized me to make them meet the guy and their parents. They are scared of the fact that if I keep rejecting arranged marriage proposals because of the guy, I might age and suitable matches might not. I might age and suitable matches might come. I think she means that. Okay. Also that they have to answer relatives suitably. Okay. Now it's different whenever you're in a different country, because there's a different social norms. It's a different system, and we need to be mindful of those things. Obviously 3 months is pretty short to get to know somebody. I mean, you can think you're in love with someone in 3 months and then get married, and you're just gonna feel stuck. And especially if you're in a country where stepping out of marriage is even more difficult. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know what the right advice is in this situation, because it is in another country, and I don't know. Obviously, I'm Indian, so I know what India is like. But there's also there are parents in India that are very modernized and open to the ideas, and then very ones that are very stubborn and strict, and they are not even open to communication. So you really need to assess what kind of parents you are. But if they are open to just having a heart-to-heart talk, I think that would be suitable, especially if you can talk to them, get through to them. And I know that there are those families out there in India, that's for sure. I don't know which one applies to this girl, but yeah. Let's see. 38-year-old female with red flags. Trust him or run for the hills. Let's see. Married 8 years. Right after we got married, on our honeymoon, I used his phone one morning and saw a dating app. I was shocked and downloaded it on my phone and found his profile. It was very incomplete, but his picture was there. I confronted him and he said it was stupid. He made a profile one night a year prior when he had a big argument with me, but he never used it and forgot about it. Then he deleted it in front of me. Okay, moving on. 4 years ago, I noticed a piece of paper in his jeans while doing laundry. It had a woman's name on it and a number to text. I asked about that one. He said he's never contacted her, but one night when he was at a strip club for a buddy's bachelor party, the stripper slipped him her number, and said she's available for an arrangement. He says he never threw the paper away. I wasn't sure about that. He does always tip very well, very, very well, everywhere with everyone. So I thought maybe she thought she could get more cash out of him. No idea. I was feeling suspicious, so I contacted her via text. I told her I was his wife and asked if they had met up. She told me she felt her privacy was invaded by me contacting her and to speak to my husband. She didn't admit or deny anything. We swore on our children's life that he never met up with her or had any kind of arrangement. Fast forward to last year, I turned on his laptop because mine wasn't working. The first page it pulled up was a page for escorts. He said he's never in his life met up with an escort, but he looked them up when he wanted to masturbate because porn was getting boring. The thrill of knowing he could call up a real escort or pay for sex was exciting. Okay? This brings us to now. A few months ago, when doing taxes, I noticed suspicious amounts withdrawn from his personal account. 400 here, 400 there. Just doesn't historically use money in this way. If he's going to the trouble of going to the ATM, he will take the full daily amount, always. He never takes out amounts like that. I asked him what it was for, and he first couldn't remember. Then he remembered it was for some items that he bought from a liquidator. Liquidator closed just after these purchases, and they were very fly-by-night anyway, so it's not like I could have even find out from them. It's true they deal in cash. Of course, from a few months ago, he didn't keep the receipts or anything. He does have the stuff he says he purchased, but he has so much of that type of stuff, I have no idea when he got it. Then this weekend, I was going through mounds of paper that needs to be filed or thrown away. A lot of it was from a few months ago. I came across a paper, the name Cindy and a heart. Not his writing, no phone number. He swears he has no idea who that is and says he can't remember after seeing that before. Now my mind is thinking Cindy, some escort, and the $400 withdrawals from a few months ago are him buying sex. He says I'm being ridiculous and tell him he has to figure out how to prove this to me. He says he can't, but I just have to trust him. I'm sitting here wondering, do I trust him? Do I just trust after those close calls he wouldn't be so stupid again? I recently had a physical. I'm clean with no STDs, or should I look at the past weird behavior and insist on proof, whatever form that would be in? And I have no idea. It's a tough one. She's married. She has kids, and her husband's exhibiting this type of behavior. And we all know the problem is because they don't have the honesty in the relationship, and we know that there's no transparency, and I don't know what the answer is to that. But I do know this much, for at least my own personal opinion. Relationship like that, I'd walk away. I just don't want to deal with that type of stress, that type of thing. Not only that, it becomes a vicious cycle to think about. Just when you don't have that honesty from your partner, you don't have this feeling that the person wants to be honest with you and tell you everything, and you just keep seeing these clues. It's just scary. And what's the point of being in any relationship? Trust is not there. No matter how good the relationship can be in anything else, if the trust is not there, it falls like a deck of cards, or like a house of cards, sorry. Trust is what holds it up. Like that's the minimum. You can have anything and everything, but it just doesn't work without trust. How can you make it work even if you wanted to? without trust. You know? You are trying to make it work, then you're there for other reasons other than love. What does that do to you as a person, being in that relationship for so long and continue to do that and continue to feel that? It's just not. It's just not a good feeling. And I would like to wish that the Aaron and be open, but for whatever reason he's not. History of the relationship on. Is there a chance to get to a place where both people could be on the same, be transparent, be honest, or is the relationship past its expiry date? Too far back to go? Not possible. Let's read this one. 23-year-old female. Want to break up with my boyfriend, 24-year-old male of 8 years, over a coworker that I don't know. I don't know if I'm making a mistake. My boyfriend has a coworker who was into him. Found out not too long ago that she confessed her feelings to him through text. She asked him if she would have a chance. They were both single. Circumstances were different. He told her he honestly would give her a chance. Any pinky swore on it. She thanked him for the nice rejection, and he told her he wouldn't reject her if things were different because she told her he was in love with me, planned to marry. He kept this conversation with her a secret until I confronted him. He told me he was just being nice to her, as she is insecure and a nice girl. He kept her crush a secret from me because he didn't want me to get paranoid or jealous. I recently found out that she had tried to get my boyfriend to cheat because she had really strong feelings for him. He told her he was a very nice catch and he loved me. When they were hugging, she kissed him on the neck. He told her that he knew that was wrong, but would let that slide this time. Eventually her husband found out, so she blocked. Eventually her husband found out, so she blocked my boyfriend. In return, my boyfriend blocked her back. Whoa, she was married? Okay. I learned that despite all this, my boyfriend is still being friendly with her. She even tried to distance herself completely, but my boyfriend insisted on not ignoring her entirely. When I contacted this coworker, long story, she said she doesn't initiate conversation with him anymore. He still does just to stay friendly and keep the peace. I'm obviously mad at this coworker, but more angry that my boyfriend is still friendly with her after all this, considering a breakup. I don't want to make any rash decisions. Forgive him? Does it seem like there's more going on that he's not going to tell me? The LDR, which is too long to read, right? Not too long didn't read. A coworker tried to get my boyfriend to cheat on me. He rejected her advances but continues to stay friends with her. I'm considering breaking up with him over this. He's been together for 8 years. Okay, so transparency isn't there completely, though it seems the loyalty from him is still intact. But he didn't tell you because he didn't want you to get paranoid, jealous. Now, best solution to when these things happen is honesty, right? Right when it happens. Feeling of betrayal always gonna hurt a lot more than the actual truth. It's the betrayal 10 times more. had he told her right at the onset of when it was happening and how it happened, she would have been in the loop. They would have been on the same page. She would have been in on it. She would have been part of the journey, and they could have been able to navigate that together. But he kept her out of it. Keep her in the loop. Didn't keep her part of the journey. Found out on her own. Felt that betrayal. Shaking the relationship. Sure, and rejected the advances. He's loyal all the time. But if you're really loyal, I mean, sure, you're loyal. It's mixed gray, but if you were really loyal, wouldn't you have told your partner? Wouldn't you have been open about it? And I get it. Like, some people's arguments are, nope, if spouse freaks, she doesn't deserve it, she can't handle the truth, I ain't gonna give it to her. Yeah, that is true. Some people do that. But the best solution is to obviously be on the same page, right? You know, I think a person really needs to contemplate what they're gonna lose if they do break up. Even if she does break up with him, and even if he does now get close to that coworker, and things happen, and even if then it doesn't work out, he'll still be back on the market looking again, or maybe he'll even try and rekindle the relationship again of 8 years and say he screwed up. Whatever it is. Or there's another thing possible, that maybe from that breakup, maybe from that breakup, he might say no, he doesn't want to lose it, this is too important to him, and maybe fix that communication problem they do have, because it's really started by communication, right? If you want to make your partner feel at ease, you have all the power to do that. All the power to do that. Even if you know that they're gonna freak out, but you're like, this, they need to know, because if they find out on their own, they're gonna freak out. I don't want that to happen. Listen, I know her well enough that I can tell her the truth, and even if she freaks out, I'm here for her, to console her, here to comfort her. I think love solves it. You really give her that love while you told her, it would have worked. Now, gray area, maybe what if relationships going okay and he is kind of liking her, but at the same time he's want to cheat, and the mix area, really need to look at the relationship and really kind of dissect it and analyze it. What's happening here? Are there problems? Because if this was, let's say for example, this wasn't year 8 of the relationship, it was year 1, he was head over heels for you, and he was really into you, and what would his reactions be? How would it be different? Or would it be the same thing? How have you guys grown? And here's the thing. I mean, if you guys are a good-looking couple, there's a good chance that there's going to be people coming to pass at you. How are you guys as a couple? How are you guys bond, like telepathic? It's like that specific partners, like you guys are able to, are in sync, like telepathically control this machine, all the relate. It's Anyways, how long has the stream been on? It's about to be an hour. So, and I was also streaming the other one, but which ended and then we restarted. But so I think I'm gonna call it quits for now. Maybe we'll come back on later on. But sometimes when you deal with all this heavy stuff, it becomes a bit much. Feel it on the heart too. I've never cried on a stream before, but yeah, today was a first. But yeah, that's one of the positive things is like when some people, they talked about their positive. I'm really glad we read that thread where it was positive things that people got from the community through a hard time. They work through it with another. They're like, thank you, community, for helping us. Got through it. It's great. That's great. Or like they moved on, and they're like, thanks community for being there, because I wasn't sure what to do. I moved on, and there was other people out there that was similar to me, and it worked out. And I hope that everybody is happy, even if the person who leaves the relationship. I hope both parties are happy in life, because I mean, everybody deserves to be loved, really, you know. And what is the point of being in a relationship if it's miserable? Really, what is the point? You're there to love and compassion, brightness for the relationship to the other person, ignite them on the inside. You know? So anyway, and that was that. I guess this was an interesting stream to do. This was my first time doing something like this. To read about things, talk about it, analyze it. I mean, it's different from playing games. Games are nice, but sometimes I think the games aspect is a little bit more fun whenever we might have somebody else here on the stream and play games together while chatting or playing together. And I think these type of chatting ones is kind of nice. It's a bit of analysis, it's a little bit of introspection, it's a little bit of tapping into humanity. I think the solutions are also things that what do other people think. So yeah, it just feels very grounded. And so many things really hit the heart. I think that's not what we look for. Feel things from the heart. Isn't that what relationships are about? Feel things from the heart, you know. And talking on this, even if nobody's watching. Maybe this podcast might be played later, and it might mean something to someone or something. And even if it's not, sometimes it's nice to kind of just hear what I think for myself, you know, kind of therapeutic, kind of like something similar to like journaling or introspection or talking to a friend, but talking to oneself, you know, or talking to a wall, you know. Some people don't like talking to a wall, but some people do. So anyways, I'm gonna call it quits now. I'm gonna call it signing out from now, and maybe I'll be on later on today. Let's see. Let's read one more, sure. Let's see, what do we got here? Not gonna call it signing out. Yeah, we're gonna read something else. What other threads do they have here? Ooh, breakups. Oh, let's read about that. Wow, this is a long one. 34-year-old long distance female long distance relationship. 34 need advice on long distance gone south. Let's just see if we can skim this real quick. Okay, let's read this one. I stumbled across a subreddit and read tons of posts. Never been a member of Reddit, but but the support you guys give each other, others really struck me as something I needed, something I would like to give to others. I'm also hoping it will take my mind off my own issues. I was in a 3-year relationship that ended in December of 2018 for a number of reasons. It wasn't toxic, and he was really a wonderful guy. We lived together, and I want to give him time to get his affairs in order to move closer to family out of state. This seemed to be dragging on. No sex, no lovely stuff. We just kept hoping. In May of 2019, I started talking to someone else long distance. Ooh. For 3 months, it really went well, and because it was progressing, I felt I needed to make sure I gave my ex a time frame on moving out. 2 weeks later, he committed. Oh my goodness. We're devastated. The guy I was talking to also knew him casually and felt very guilty as well. For about a month, we struggled on, but he eventually called it quits, saying he felt too awful and that of what happened and couldn't handle us being together. I should add that he had some pretty terrible things. He said some pretty terrible things in an effort to push me away for sure. A few weeks go by, he messages saying that he feels different about me Another woman, he wants to try again. Oh wait, what's that sound? Okay. Oh, thanks. We got a follower. Thanks, Leon, for following. Thanks for tuning in. We're just reading about relationships and commenting on them. This one seems like a deep one, a tough one. Let's see. Continue reading. He wants to try again. He said some awful things. Okay, we saw read that part. He said all those awful things because he wanted to push me away. Apologies. Anyways, we start making plans for me to come visit. Things continue to go back and forth. A lot of communication, calls, FaceTime, texts. We broke it off again 2 weeks before I'm scheduled to leave. I said I was going anyway, and I didn't need to see him if he felt that way. I asked he give the keys to the condo I rented to his name. In his name to a mutual friend. He hated the idea. I said he would do it himself. It was his responsibility. So I go 22 hours of traveling. He picks me up. We go to the condo to drop my stuff, then to eat, and to a bar with music. Had a great time. Lots of talking. He drops me off. I don't see him again. Although we're talking till his birthday a few days later. We go out again. Had a great time. He says the night nothing followed, but we talked about everything happened and how we felt. Smiling, things semi healed. We had a great time, lots of dates, hung out with friends. He introduced me to his cousin's sexual contact. An hour before I left, he told me he loved me. He wanted to move to be near me. We were official again. That was 3 weeks ago. I got back. Communication was good for a week and then dropped off. He'd ignored me for a day or two. It was okay with it. He started new job. Things were busy. I understood. Finally, though, it came to a head. He snapped at me, calling me annoying and needy. Broke up. That he wasn't attracted to me, and that he felt sad watching me waiting for him to make a move. Visited, so he had realized he didn't love me, but was just attached to me as a friend. I didn't want this kind of relationship. I should mention that during all this, I offered for me maybe 1,000, 1,100 total, always with the promise to pay me back. Last a week after I got back. I'm sad to say that when he said these things and about not being attracted to me, I snapped, called him names, said that he was a user, etc. Told him I wanted all my money back. He said he would pay me back, but felt like I was smacking him. Done for him. I'm really sorry for how he treated me. I ignored those messages. As long as it is, that is the abbreviated version of the story. I'm best to no contact. It's been a few days early. Struggle's real. I've just wanted to feel better. I keep busy. There's always downtime. Everything was so great before my ex passed. Even when I was there, I'm so confused about the things he said. Who does that? Thanks for listening. I'll continue to read about the other struggles and hope can ease my struggle and for others. Dating for 7 months, how long? Saw each other for 3 weeks. We broke up, saying he was never attracted and felt like he was attached because we're friends. Okay, so she's focused on that part of the relationship. Big shocker about the relationship that suicide. That's real rough. It doesn't say the details of why that happened, how that happened. Yeah, I will say this about suicide's never the answer. Even if it crosses anybody's minds, it's never the answer. No. Suicide doesn't want to be loved. If anybody ever has those thoughts or those feelings, I just want them to know that there's so many people out there, not even just one person, so many people out there that want to shower them with love haven't had the opportunity. So don't ever call it. Ever. 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 Or any bad experience you had. Anybody that's being mean to you or anybody that's hurt you. I believe that there are people out there who will love you 100 times. Have the courage to continue living life. Hope that you'll be able to give love to someone. That love will come back to you. You know, a lot of us are just feeling pain, hurt on the inside. But to me, this is just my own personal opinion. But I believe that if you go through life, give love, you'll get love back. People pain, you'll get pain back. You know, people happiness, basically, you'll get happiness. Give people sadness, you'll get back sadness. Whatever it is, regardless of the situation, suicide's not the answer. Sure, the internet's full of those stories where people, they got past that suicidal moment and so thankful that they found love, that they found a place to be loved, or a place for them to be able to give love and give so much love. And in return, they're also getting so much love back. And suicide to hurt somebody, not worth it. It's not worth it. Suicide to thinking that, oh, it'll hurt the other person back when they see that I'm gone. It's not worth it. That idea, and not worth it, because time heals everybody. Everybody's over it eventually. So suicide's not the answer. The answer is love. If you're not getting love, give love. Give it with all your heart. Keep giving love. Eventually, find its way back. My belief, personal belief. Read another one. What do we got? Here. Okay. Let's read this one. Broke up with my 22 so she's a 22-year-old female. Boyfriend is 23 years old for the second time in 2 months. Can it be salvaged? Him and I have been dating for a year and a half, but talking romantically for about 2.5 years. So they've been talking for about 2.5 years, and they've been dating for about a year and a half. So okay. Things have been pretty not great between my boyfriend and I, probably since summer ended. Not great as in fighting, but not great as in the spark is kind of gone, and we act more as friends now than anything. We've had sex maybe twice in that time, and I just don't feel super attracted to him. So we decided to stop things a month ago. Then tried again. Nothing. So we decided we ended it a few days ago I guess I'm just curious as to if anybody else has been in this position. Can spark come back? Or is it best to just call things off? We're trying to keep it together for a few months. I think things might be so bad because I've been overwhelmed with school this semester. I'm taking 18 credits and working 30 hours a week on top of mental health issues, which I'm sure don't help. I just felt like nothing was working, but I want him in my life, and I do love him. I don't know if that's romantically or not. Our boyfriend of a year and a half lost the spark. Not sure how much trying will get it back. Okay, so she's in a position where spark's gone. She's not sure if it's gonna come back. The spark is very subjective, right? I mean, we all know what that spark is, and a lot of that spark is there in the beginning. That spark is there in the beginning because of attraction. Actually, let's read what the commenters say. First, no. Second, you are 22. Don't settle. I second this comment. So people say, a lot of people are saying, you're 22, get over it. Next person, okay. So the spark. Now, the spark is one of those things where, to me, the way I see it, it doesn't matter what age you are. You really want to be with a person, and that person wants to be with you, and you guys are on the same page. That communication's there. That spark will come in its own ways, but I think really two people need to be on that same wavelength. They need to be on that same page, and a lot of the times, though one person will say they are, and the other person will say they are as well. If you really look closely, you'll see that they're not on the same page. There are different frequencies. That's why it's not working. Maybe at the onset, in the beginning, there was that spark because when you guys first met, it was maybe meeting on a very superficial level because you just meet someone for the first time. Maybe that's why you guys are on the same page, so that spark is there. And then somewhere along the way, you get to learn about each other's, and then all of a sudden, you guys start shifting in terms of like the way you guys see each other, the frequency too. So I would say in this situation that if you guys tried twice, not coming back, it's going to take a lot more effort to try and get it back again. I mean, the more further you go down that rabbit hole and things aren't working, it's almost like it's almost going to feel like it's an uphill battle. And if the relationship's worth it and you guys both really believe in it, and then yeah, you're willing to go on that uphill battle and fight for it. And the commentators obviously believe it. You shouldn't bother because you're 22 and what's the point? You've tried it twice, it's not really working. It's only been you guys have been talking for a year, then you guys tried the relationship for a year and it didn't really work and it wasn't happening. I believe that yes, whenever you're talking to someone, you get to know them. They've kind of really going to really start to understand you, and if they really do, then I think they would apply the things that they've learned about you when they're in that relationship with you, including themselves, and they're expecting that you see them as well, them as well. So if it's just not computing, you're just not finding each other on the same page, and you've tried twice, it's just not happening. It's probably a good chance that probably not going to happen. So maybe it is best to move on. And especially if you're just looking for that spark, is it really safe to say that you're really looking for something deeper? You're just looking for that spark. You're looking for that excitement. If that's all you're looking for that quick high. Does that really make sense? Be in a relationship? You're not looking for something deeper. Is maybe the one person's looking for something deeper and you're just looking for that quick fix? Will that really work? Just from an objective point of view, probably would say probably not. Is it possible? It is possible. Anything's possible. You put a lot of hard work, love, and devotion into it, anything is possible. But because this is one of those, let's see, why did you go through all of these in this way? What do you mean by optimistic Shaggy? Thanks for the comment. Why do you go through all these in this way? What do you mean? I don't understand. But in this way, you mean like talking about it? And this is just, obviously, it's just all my opinion. It's just what I think. But at the same time, it's about maybe giving an outlook that maybe a lot of people might not see and might want to consider. Like things like being on the same page with the other person, being on that same wavelength, kind of understand the other person, they understand you, because what you'll notice is a lot of these problems and these a lot of these problems that you see everybody's having, it's solutions are usually the same. It's usually the same problems. People don't understand it. They don't see the reasons why, and you'll see some of the solutions. Like you'll see some of these people that will actually come up and they'll be like, thank you community, thank you for being there. I've learned from it. We had the talk, and they call it the talk. But I was like, what was the talk? The talk was that communication, like bringing yourself forward, like taking yourself out of your shell and saying, here I am, emotionally. Why not do a text to speech, then share these comments with the ops? Sure, that's an idea. I don't know if the ops would be interested in hearing my way of looking at it. That would be something to consider. Maybe we'll try that the next time. Maybe we'll let the people know that, hey, I'll go through theirs, and if they are interested in hearing what I have to say about it, then yeah. But yeah, we can definitely include the community if that's what you mean. I think that would be great. But for today, I mean, this is just something that we're doing today for the first time to talk about these things. And really, we've gone through so many already. You'll realize that a lot of them are very similar. The solutions for a lot of them are similar. Even the people that found the solutions, they're exactly what we talked about. And sometimes the solutions were they had to move on, which is sad. It hurts. It hurts to, like we read one about a person that was in a relationship for 7 years and they had to move on. Optimistic Shaggy says, my idea is that they posted up looking for comments. They did. They did. And you're saying that I should have did like a text to speech and give it to them that way. That could work. But I guess I'm not trying to do as many things as I can right now. We're just live and talking. So it's not me trying to jump in as a commenter and give them, like, this is what I think, you'd go for it. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. This is just my analysis of it. I'd love for you guys as a comment, as viewers, to weigh in. Do you agree with what I say? Do you disagree? Do you have a secondary question about what I just talked about? Optimistic Shaggy says, oh, I get you, but thought I would share my idea. Oh, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that idea. That's the way to do it. Share your ideas, and it'll benefit all of us. It'll give us all a bigger, rounded perspective. I'm open to opening up my perspective and understanding more of this. I don't know the answers to all these things. I don't know, but I think I have an idea of where the answer lies and what realm that lies in. And really at the end of it, do you want to put in the work to get there? What's your goal at the end of this, right? So anyways, that was that. Let's just try another one since we got a few viewers here. We were looking at relationships. Another forum that we were looking at was Dead Bedrooms, and that one was let's see here, where is it? That one is really sad. It's about relationships that just gone stale. Not sure what to do. Let's read this one. She says it's no sex drive. Things point otherwise. So Optimistic Shaggy says, sorry with the confusion with all that. My idea is if someone mentions something, then they're looking for something. You are absolutely right. If they mention something, then they are looking for something. But I didn't get to these posts first, right? They've already had commentators, and people have commented, and a lot of them are probably saying something similar to what I'm saying. So I'm sure they got what they needed from it. What I'm doing here is it's not that special. It's very general. But hey, if you think what I have to say is anything worth saying to these original posters, then then I guess we could consider writing in there in the forums. So let's read this one. She says, no sex drive, things point otherwise. She writes, wife and I have been together 8 years, and the last 4 since her weight loss surgery, her sex drive has gone to nothing. Before her surgery, we had very regular sex, and it was a big concern after. When it started happening, it made sense, and it started taking more and more to get her in the mood. But the last 2 years, it's just been dead. So dead. She's told B, probably me, to not even bother if I have to. Wait until she falls asleep. What are you writing? I believe it is special because it is your opinion. More the merrier. Hey, thanks. Yeah, you're right. We'll get her onto that. I'll keep that in mind for the next time. Let's see what she writes. So she says, it's been, but the last 2 years it's been dead. So dead, she's told me to not bother, and if I have to, wait until she falls asleep. I need reciprocation. I would get anxiety attacks lying next to her thinking about it. Lately, she's been completely checked out. I can even speak to her without her dismissing me, and I lash out at her because of her lack of libido. She's always Snapchatting, and I've noticed very suggestive pictures and pictures of other men's Instagrams on our Mac from her phone. I'm not even sure how to go forward without getting into her phone, confronting her about what's on the Mac. It just makes me look insane. I feel like I'm going insane. Okay, so the poster, the user is saying his wife went through weight loss surgery, and her drive has gone down. Her sexual drive has gone down in her bedroom. Nothing's happening, and she said to her, wait till she goes to sleep, and I think that's a pretty hurtful thing to say, mean thing to say, because it communicates that you just don't care about your spouse. You don't want to talk about it, and I get it. Okay, fine. She's Snapchatting because she, is going to put suggestive pictures, and it makes sense. She went through weight loss surgery, so she's probably happy with her newfound body and wants to showcase that in some way, and happy doing that, which is why she's doing that. Now, if other guys are commenting on her pictures and giving her feedback, and it makes her happy, then that's another thing. The bigger question is, if now it says they've been together. It doesn't say they're married, or maybe they're just in a relationship. The question is, the bigger question is, what's his relationship with her? Because if the relationship's going stale, you don't know. What if it's on the onset of she might just move on eventually? What if she considers herself to be in a higher league, in a better league, a different league, and she's just like, sorry, you don't affect me in that way. Other people do. Or I want other people to. Sorry, I'm out. We don't know, right? So I think the biggest thing, no matter what, it comes down to the communication. Comes down to that honesty. Like, can you have that heart-to-heart talk? Really connect with your significant other, and really see where she feels that she is, and if she can open up to you is the number one question. But if she's not, then she's not ready to get to that stage with you, and that meaning that why isn't she ready to get there? Is it that she doesn't want to get there with you because she's just not interested in you anymore? And so she's like, nope, don't want to have this heart-to-heart. I'm not interested. Or she's about to check out. Like, what is it? And I think that's what it comes down. It comes to that heart-to-heart. Can you get that heart-to-heart? Because really, don't forget, the bedroom is like you're physically getting intimate. You're physically naked. But what about getting yourself emotionally naked? That's tough. That's some tough stuff. People are more willing to get physically naked than emotionally naked, and show who they are on the inside. Really give that forward. Like, could you really give yourself that and talk about things that you're deeply uncomfortable to talk about? Just give yourself, like, and make yourself vulnerable and give yourself to your significant other. Can you do that? And if you can, I believe that will influence your bedroom. That will spark things. You'll find interest all of a sudden in your significant other because you've made a connection on an emotional level, and that's what drives the bedroom, right? It's not the physicality of it. The physicality is just mechanical. A person would lose interest in that very, very quickly. What keeps the sparkle of that fire alive? It's that emotional connection. That's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, when they talked about that spark, can it be reignited? Yes, it can be when you have that emotional connection. You gotta have a person who's willing to connect with you here, and a person willing to connect here. And if they're both willing, they will eventually connect somewhere on some page. And then from that page, they can have a journey forward to make new discoveries together. It's that journey together, right? That's where it is. Having that heart-to-heart talk, being on the same, if one person makes themselves emotionally available and was ready to talk, and the other one just is silent, gives nothing, this person's gonna exhaust themselves and be giving himself, and it's like you're talking to a wall. And even then, he's like, okay, this person is gonna be a wall to me. I don't care. I still want to give myself. You will, until you'll eventually just exhaust yourself and get used to just being alone and being in a relationship with the wall. It's going to feel like that, and that will, in itself will change you. And then you'll probably start contemplating, where is this relationship going? What's happening? I'm not getting anything. I'm not feeling that warmth. I'm not feeling that love. Isn't that what love is? It's about that connection. When you have that connection, you feel loved. If you don't have a connection, you won't feel loved. You know? And, you know, I'm a big believer of a lot of what's in the bedroom mirrors what's actually in the relationship. Because if you look closely, if you really refine the way you look at it and really look at it, you'll observe things in the bedroom about the relationship that you'll be able to notice that happen outside the bedroom in your relationship. And as things are happening like in the relationship, let's say you're emotionally connecting and you're being more honest with each other and just open up, and you guys are both trying towards and just connect with each other, be present, and just, you know, get to that level. Let's call it that soul kind of level. It's internal. You'll notice the bedroom's gonna mirror that. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see what else we have. Right here. Do I disengage? Let's see what does he mean? Let's see here. I'm 21-year-old male. My girlfriend is 20. We met in high school and started dating senior year. We got physical pretty quickly, and while we have yet to do penetration, we keep each other satisfied. Last year she got a promotion and is now doing school online, which means I don't get to see her as often as I used to, and whenever I do, she's either physically tired or emotionally tired and is never in the mood. She does have days off where we can focus on each other, but they don't lead to anything odd or her parents don't allow me to be in her room alone with her anymore. My bedroom isn't an option either, so we only have her car. I've tried flirting and wearing hot clothes that she likes and offering massages, but she's basically used to trying to turn her on. I understand that she can get busy, nothing stays the same, but I haven't gotten any sexual attention in weeks, and it's really bugging me. I read somewhere disengaging for a while, I mean not responding to text or affection, would influence her to try doing more to get my attention. I don't know if that's the right choice, although I'm getting desperate advice. I don't believe that if that's your version of disengaging, it's gonna help. You know, giving someone the cold shoulder is not is I don't think is gonna help the relationship. If anything, it just adds confusion. It just makes them think that, okay, this person's not interested. You know, you never know, they might start looking elsewhere. You know, really, if you're getting that desperate to say how you feel, then communicate. And communicate can be like a misinterpreted word. There's like, what does that mean? And the way I see it is be honest. Can you be honest? Can you really just be raw and honest? Can you go to that place for her, with her? Would she appreciate it? Would she, you know? And she willing to go there because a person is physically tired or emotionally tired. You know, if something excites them, kind of like being, the way I see it is like, it's kind of like having dinner, so full. When all of a sudden dessert comes, you're like, whoa, I got space for dessert. I want to have some chocolate cake. You know, where did that come from? Where did that excitement come from? And I feel like if you can connect to someone emotionally, get to that place. If you can, I'm not saying it's easy. It can be difficult. It has a lot to do whether the person is willing to connect with you or not. But if you, I think usually the times if you really make yourself open and available for them, and you show that you're putting yourself out there for them, if that appeals to them, they will connect with you. They'll be like, wow, this person really taking courage to make themselves vulnerable and open to me. I really appreciate that honesty, and that means something. That's probably why a lot of the time, sometimes females will, when you really tell them like how you truly feel about them, like no filters, no cliche lines, just straight honesty, they find you attractive. Why is that? You know, it's something about that vulnerability, giving yourself from the heart. You know, I'm not saying that always works. I'm saying that sometimes it helps. I think, I think if anything, putting yourself out there like that takes courage. They appreciate that. It means something to them. At least you have more of an idea that you're on the same page. And if you are on the same page, being on the same page with someone means so much in a relationship. Don't think that that's meaningless, that everybody can. No, there's a lot of people that get into a relationship and they think they can be on the same page, or that they are on the same page, but they're not. And they clue in on it later. You need to know that you're on that same page. A person can just nod their head, yes, yes, yes. Oh yeah, totally agree. And then you find out really their words don't match their actions, and that you're actually not on the same page. You're not on the same frequency. So if you can get on the same page with someone, same understanding, just then you can actually start a journey together. You know, then you can start like team working together. You can actually start helping each other out, because their problems will be your problems and your problems are their problems, and they'll see it that way. And you'll see that you guys are working together as a team, and then the discoveries happen. And what excites them is the fact that they feel like they have somebody, feel like there's someone that's there. You don't need these things like in this post, this person is giving a lot of importance to sex. I get it, it is important, but more than sex, you know what's really fulfilling? It's that connection. The connection's fulfilling. You know, I use this analogy. It's like there are people out there that, you know, they can't physically have sex. You know, they're handicapped in whatever way, or they just can't do it. That doesn't mean that they cannot be sexual. They still can be, and they can still excite their partners. They just don't have the avenue of doing it physically sometimes. So they're using the other avenue, which is emotionally. You know, call it emotionally, spiritually, whatever you want it, but it's a deeper connection. If you can activate that, that means so much more than the physical. The physical will just come. It'll just come on its own. You know, isn't that the reason why like sexting has an effect? It's just words. There's no one really actually there touching that person or whatever. It's the fact that it comes from a person of a certain thought, and they're thinking that they're on the same wavelength, on that same mindset. They're thinking they're on that same page, and so these words mean something, right? So I think that's just another level of bringing that alive. Whenever you try and connect to them from the heart, connect to them emotionally, make yourself present, available, you know, giving yourself emotionally to them. I think that means so much more. The physical will just come. It just happens. It happens because the connection's there. So yeah. Okay. Let's see what the commenters have to say about that. The reason you haven't had sex yet, is it religious? Okay, so they think it's religious. I mean, I think, I mean, they're high schoolers, right? And even though they're in their senior years, I think it's, I mean, hey, I say kudos to you guys for like not wanting to jump into that, regardless whether it's religious or not. I mean, I think there's also something in also wanting to wait and discover each other first before getting there, because that can always come later, right? Don't think the act is going to bring everything. No, it's everything that comes before the act, right? That emotional connection, that brings everything. You know, it's kind of like steeping tea. You know, you can't, if you just put tea into boiling water and then drink the water after, it's not going to taste great. You gotta let it steep, right? Even if you didn't boil the water, even if you put the tea and let it soak in that water and let it steep for a while, and then warm it up slowly, and over time, the tea's going to be a lot stronger. It's going to be a lot more potent. I think relationships are in the same way too. You know, when things are taken peacefully and at their own pace, at their own organic pace and rhythm, things will be better. It's not about that one element that is the thing that's going to unlock all the happiness. It's not that. You know, happiness, first of all, is going to come from yourself, and at the same time, it's fact that you're able to give happiness to the other person, and that connection and that emotional connection, that'll make the relationship so much more fulfilling. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. Let's see this. Has anyone's DB ever turned around? I think it means, has anyone's dead bedroom ever turned around? I've been on this thread for about a week, maybe less. So I know what it's about, and that everyone here has something common in some way or another. I want to pose a question for any of those who are in the DB relation. Did everything's ever change? And the truth is that things do change. There was this was an older post. The earlier ones, if you see, that is positive, and people have talked about things that are positive. Let's read this one. The constant excuses are worse than just telling me you don't want to have sex with me. Let's see this. We're on a trip. Writer writes, we're on a trip and I can't even get any in a hotel. 33, married, 1 child, barely 1 year old, and 1 on the way. We woke up this morning and he has a boner. He has previously in better times given me express permission to just grab it. I try to get things started. He says, not with that baby. He's awake. Baby's in a pack and play on the other side of the room and can't see us. We can turn on the TV so he can't hear us. If you, I guess she says, if you want, I'm just. She says to him, if you want to, I'm just telling you how I feel about it. Okay, so let's get in the shower together. No, because he'd be screaming the whole time. Out loud, I just fine, and I just said fine, but in my head, first off, no, he wouldn't. Secondly, when you are so concerned with the baby, because I'm pretty sure I take care of him 99.99% of the time, please stop making effing excuses all the time when the fact is you just don't want to. This may be a poor example, but it always something. There's always some reason. He has a headache, his stomach hurts, he's tired. Pretty sure I'm putting too much pressure on it. But then he's so tired, he can stay up to 4 playing video games. He sneaks off to jerk off in the bathroom with his phone. I'm about at my limit. Constant rejection. I mean, fine, if you don't want to do it in the hotel room because of the baby, which is total BS. We could still make out, touch, hug, cuddle, anything, so I don't feel so lonely and unwanted and undesirable and alone. He sneaks off to the bathroom to jerk off. I sneak off to the bathroom to cry. How lovely that I have to do this. No creepy PMS, no PMS whatsoever. Thank you. Okay. So I have a lot of questions about this relationship. You know, for things to get up to this point, what caused him to feel this way, and that's a discussion, right? I don't know exactly how the marriage counseling or couples counseling works exactly, but I do have an idea. And understanding is that it needs to be talked about. What caused him to feel this way? What caused him to feel this way? He might be holding on to something from the past that's causing this, you know? Because if this was the beginning of a relationship, obviously even if they had a baby, it didn't matter. This was the beginning of a relationship and he wants to be with her. Yes, he would be into the touching, the cuddling, the hugging. What is it that's happened in the relationship to this point where he's just like, no, I'm out? Or that maybe something's happening internally where he's off of it for whatever reason, and he's expecting her to know. You should know why I'm off of it. If you can't figure out why I'm upset with you, or I'm not interested, or why I'm not interested in you right now, you should know this. All that needs to be talked about. And maybe it was talked about. It's possible. They could have even talked about it, and it's not written in here. And we don't know what she had to say to that. Maybe they talked about it. Nothing came about it. Nothing came about because they just weren't able to have that heart-to-heart connection, where they talked about it and really made an effort to be on the same page, to move forward, to get there, to get in a place where they can be together emotionally, you know. And it sucks that, you know, she goes to the bathroom to cry. She feels alone. It sucks to feel alone. there's no need for it. A lot of it is, I wouldn't even want to say ego. I'm sure a lot of it probably happened, and who knows. You know what I mean? And if this is happening in their bedroom, what's happening in the relationship? If my theory that what happens in the bedroom is the mirror to what's happening in the relationship, you'll see it in other aspects of the relationship as well. Maybe something happened in the relationship. That's why it's mirroring in the bedroom. And let's see if both people want to fix it. Sometimes some people don't want to fix it. One person wants to fix it, and the other person doesn't want to. Can't do anything about that. You can't force the other person to want to fix it. You can't force the other person to want to make themselves emotionally available. You can't do that. You can only put yourself forward and be like, hey, wanna dance? And if the person's like, nah, I'm good. Or just silence. Nah, you do your thing. That's that. Okay. What do people write? Hope you both work it out. Honestly, it's the other way around with me and my wife, Sally. Son is going to grandma's this Tuesday, whatever. I'm sure you'll think of some excuse or just fall asleep. Anyways, take that as the same chances of me winning the lotto. So it's not a good feeling to feel rejected, you know. I think that's it for today. I will say this. A feeling of being rejected, feeling alone. It's a tough place to be in a relationship. You can only sit in that position for very long. I think everybody has a capacity. Some people have been in that state for 7 years until it just finally just, for whatever reason, one thing or another, it breaks. I don't know if the other person just moves on, or if that person, reaches their capacity and they just call it quits. Whatever it is, I think the purpose of a relationship is a connection, and an honest connection. Because if it's honest, there's trust. There's no honesty, then there's no trust. And if you don't have a relationship without trust, what's the point? A lot of these people who wrote about sometimes they have kids, so maybe they're bound because they have kids, and so they're willing to sacrifice a relationship because they have kids. So they're like, okay, can I have something of a relationship, even though like I have to be here? Can I have something, please? Just even a little of something to make me feel warm. Even if I don't feel loved, I just want to feel some warmth. And now I wonder, are both parties saying that? Because if they're both parties are saying that secretly, then they can both be on the same page and say that to each other. Get somewhere. Whereas one person just checked out, and the other person just is uncomfortable to open themselves up, and so this person just checked out, and then this person's okay. Now I'm ready. I want to do something. I want to get to know you. I even though I'm, and the person's like, well, I checked out. I'm not interested anymore. This, it's almost like the relationship's just festered so much further, and it's a lot harder to pull it back, right? It's kind of like something festers. Even like any illness, the antibiotics got to be so much more stronger to recover. The antibiotic for that relationship needs to be even stronger to recover, otherwise almost like recovery. No one to blame, but maybe there is no one to blame. Maybe I shouldn't, you can't even blame yourself, or you can't blame the other person. Maybe failed team effort, or maybe signed up for something that they just didn't know what they were signing up for. That's why it's really important to communicate and have that honesty to really know who it is behind that curtain. Who's that wizard? You know what I mean? You go to the Wizard of Oz, you get to really see the wizard. You gotta see who's behind the curtain, and opening yourself up is revealing who you are without having them come peek behind the curtain. You're opening up the curtain, saying, who I am. Welcome to Oz. This is me. So yeah. Anyways, that was interesting. That was I won't say kind of fun, but it was an interesting experience. certain parts are heart-wrenching. I cried on the stream for the first time, and it just sometimes it really hits home. Really hits sometimes. You just can't help but feel for the other person as well. We're all human beings. We all know what it feels like. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Whoever is still around on the stream, and to anyone who's watching this as a past stream, thanks for tuning in. Any questions, comments, feel free to send me a message on here or Twitter or wherever. All right, guys. See ya.